Brought to you by 1AAuto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet.
Hi, I'm Don from 1A Auto. I hope this how-to video helps you out. And the next time you need a part for your vehicle, think of 1AAuto.com. Thanks.
In this video, we're going to show you how to replace a front brake caliper on this 2002 Suzuki XL-7. And we show you on the passenger side, but the driver's side is a similar procedure. And the items you'll need for this is a 14, 17, and 19 millimeter socket and ratchet with a piece of pipe for leverage, a flat blade screwdriver, a torque wrench, jack and jack stands, something to collect brake fluid when you bleed the brakes, and brake fluid. And for this vehicle, it takes DOT 3. And you'll need an 8 millimeter wrench to bleed the brakes. Start off by prying off your hubcap. Next, you want to remove the 19 millimeter lug nuts. And if you don't have air-powered tools, you're going to want to loosen these while the vehicle's on the ground, then jack the vehicle up and remove them the rest of the way. And you can remove the wheel. Next, use a flat blade screwdriver to pry that inner brake pad in. And that'll push the caliper piston in and make it a little easier to pull off. Now turn your wheel so you have better access.
17.
And you want to remove this 17 millimeter bolt and this 14 millimeter bolt. And we'll just fast forward as Mike does this. As you can see, it's a bit of a struggle removing these bolts, and we find out the reason is that there's no grease on these slides, and that should not be the case. You can pull your caliper off and set it aside. Remove your brake pads. Now to remove the caliper bracket, you want to remove these two 17 millimeter bolts.
We run into a problem here where the bolt breaks off, the head of the bolt breaks off because of the vehicle is so rusty. We are able to get the top bolt out with the use of some penetrating oil first, and then the bracket does come off with a little help from a hammer.
Now to remove your caliper, you just want to remove this 14 millimeter bolt holding in the brake line. And then just pull the brake line free.
Have your new caliper standing by. They'll come with two copper crush washers. You want to put one between the caliper and the line, and then put another one on the outside of the line, and then put your bolt in and tighten it up.
Take your new brake caliper bracket and push your brake pad slides into place. And we'll fast forward as Don does this. Push the brake caliper bracket onto the brake caliper slides. And then push your brake pads into place. And now put your brake caliper back onto the rotor. Now replace those two caliper bolts. The 14 millimeter one tighten to 40 to 45. The 17 millimeter one tighten to 55 to 60 foot-pounds. And then those two bracket bolts you want to replace and tighten to about 80 to 85 foot-pounds. And after replacing your brake caliper, you're now going to have to replace the brake fluid and then bleed your brake lines. And Don will walk you through those steps.
All right, so now the last thing that we need to do after we got the new caliper on here, brake line is reattached, is bleed the brake system. And you saw us just fill up the reservoir with some new fresh .3 brake fluid. So we got Paul in the car, and he's gonna pump the brake a couple times, Paul. So he's gonna pump it. I'm gonna use an 8mm wrench on the bleeder, which is right here. And I'm gonna ask him to hold it. Okay, Paul, hold your foot down. I'm gonna crack the bleeder open. You can see the fluid come out. Now I'm gonna close it. Okay, Paul, pump it. You can see the caliper moving a little bit under the pressure. Okay, hold it. Slowly open it. Do it until there's no more fluid. I'm trying to show everybody here. So that's why it's getting a little bit messy, but you should have some kind of a hose or just a way to collect the fluid as it comes out. Okay, Paul, go ahead and pump it. And hold. All right, and it looks like there's no air bubbles in there now. We're getting good fluid. You're gonna wanna do it until you've got no more air bubbles coming out. And once you're all set with that, go back to your reservoir and make sure it's topped up. I'm going to go ahead and just fill this back up, top it off to the max line. Be careful not to spill any because it will harm your paint. We're all set.
And we'll fast forward here as Don replaces the wheel and those 19mm lug nuts. And you want to tighten them up preliminarily, lower the vehicle and tighten them the rest of the way. And now you want to torque those lug nuts to 100 foot-pounds in a crossing pattern. Then replace your hubcap. And before taking the vehicle out on the road, you want to pump your brakes until they firm up. And then you want to do a stopping test from 5 miles per hour and then 10 miles per hour.
We hope this video helps you out. Brought to you by 1AAuto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet. Please feel free to call us toll-free, 888-844-3393. We're the company that's here for you on the internet and in person.